Okay, since everyone already have an idea and already know what globalization means, we are now going to look at one particular instance, okay, or situation where it can impact our society. Now we are looking at the local and global communication now in a multicultural setting. Okay. So again, please do take notes, okay? Take down notes and participate. You can answer whenever I ask question. All right. So, with that said, because we have mentioned globalization, this interdependency, interconnectedness, this exchange and movement, it has now put us to a global environment. Okay? Global environment. All right. So this is where interconnection happens, interaction happens, okay? In this environment, we can see or we can tell that communication has become more of a challenge. It became more challenging to communicate with one another, especially to communicate with one another effectively, no? And why do you think is that so? Why? Why do you think communication in a global environment is challenging, is more challenging? No? We can also say local and global environment, right? Why? Any idea?
Ma'am, ako po.
Okay. Who's that? Brent?
Ma'am Matthew po.
Sorry. Matthew.
Ma'am,
Okay.
because pag global po parang like sa buong mundo po, we have each our different language. Yun lang po.
Yes, exactly. That's one. We have our own languages, no, which it could be or which yes, which is foreign to some because it's not our language, no. This is now what we call linguistic differences. Yeah. What else? Crisanto.
Bale ma'am, iba-iba tayo ng kultura.
There you go. Yes, exactly. We have mentioned this over and over again. We have discussed this over and over again last time. We have different cultures, or other way is we have cultural differences. Okay, to add more to that, we also have, let's say, for example, looking at local environment, we have ethnic differences. Okay. So sometimes communication is challenging because of ethnic, linguistic, and cultural. Can everyone see what I'm writing on the screen? Differences. There. Okay. I'm just writing everywhere now. I hope you also write that down, but more what do you call this one? More organized in your notes. Okay. Right. Let's take a look, for example, local, no? Just an example. Local scenario, personal scenario in our lives. We have small group of friends. No, in this small group of friends, sometimes we cannot avoid miscommunication or misunderstanding, right? Because we have differences, no? We have differences in personalities, what in other aspects, no? In culture as well, in preference, religion,
Ma'am,
no?
minsan
Sometimes.
religion ma'am.
Sorry, si Brent ba yun?
Yes ma'am. Ma'am, idagdag lang. Minsan
Minsan
din
what?
meron din pong pagkakaiba or nagiging barrier din po yung pagkakaiba ng religion.
Yes, no, religion, exactly, no? That's why. So we have also this differences when it comes to religion. That's why it can also lead to some miscommunication, right?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, very good. So are we all in the same page? It's a party kila Julia. Okay, Julia. Ang dami niyo dyan. Okay, lahat ba kayo mga estudyante ng Purposive Com? Julia Marie. Oh, nagfi-feedback. Oh, what happened? Where is Julia now? Lahat ba
Ano po
kayo?
yung... Ma'am,
Lahat
opo.
lahat ba kayong apat?
Lima po.
Ay,
Lima po
5.
kami,
Wow,
ma'am.
nice. Nagfe-face to face na sila. Okay. Alright. Nice. No, I can't. Nakakamiss din mag face to face, no? I can't help but think, no, sana mag face to face tayo. But then, of course, physically, I cannot also because I am away. All right. Anyway, going back, enjoy. And if one of you has an idea, you can always, switch on the microphone. Okay. Good, good. All right. So, um, where am I? Okay. So, yun nga, we have personnel. Now let's go to professional. We have also, what do you call this one? In the business, right? We also have in the um, business aspect. If you have a business, how will you, if you have this poor communication and if you don't understand these differences, it can lead to, as I've said, it can lead to poor communication, which can lead to poor performance of your employees and even the organization as a whole, the company as a whole, right? Because you don't understand these differences, correct? And the more important question to that, for example, if you want to integrate your business globally or overseas, if you want to put up another branch overseas or extend your market and make another branch, then it's more alarming if you don't understand, if you don't know this cultural ethnic linguistic differences, because again, what brings money to the business are people, right? People, we deal with people more than money when doing business, and then money follows. So if you cannot establish good relationship with people, and I'm not just saying your employees but also clients, right? Your employees and clients, they're all people. If you do not have a good communication with them, then it follows, no relationship, no employee employer relationship, no client relationship will be built. No, you cannot reach effectively your target market or audience, right? All because you're not aware or you do not understand these cultural differences, these linguistic, ethnic differences. No, we are all coming from different cultural, ethnic, linguistic backgrounds. So we should know this. Okay, then this is again professionally in a bigger perspective, more than just personal. Okay, let's see. One common example. What are your courses? What are your courses against um sorry. Hospitality? Am I right? No.
Culinary, ma'am.
Culinary. Everyone? Lahat ba culinary?
Ma'am, magkakaklase po kami dito sa sa parehas din po kami ng black, ma'am. So, parang lahat po kami.
And when you say, okay, sige. So yun, i-connect natin. But then again, pag nag-end yung Zoom ha, let's open a new one. Okay, so i-connect natin. For example, culinary, so you're gonna be cooking. Okay. Let's say you are going to put up your own restaurant. Sige. You're going to put up your own restaurant. So startup lang siya, for example, of course, because you're just starting, then you cater to more guests. Syempre, pag startup, then mas, ano dapat, mas personal, di ba? Sometimes you have to go out and greet those guests who are dining in your restaurant. Kasi syempre, you have to establish the relationship. So, mas personal pa. So, lumalabas-labas pa yung chef and talks to the guests. Okay. So, of course, from there, for example, you should you should be able to cater to all sorts of guests, all kinds of guests rather. Okay. What if, huh? We have our Muslim brothers and sisters. Meron ba tayo dito, Muslim brothers and sisters? Do you have brothers and sisters who are Muslims? No, wala. Okay. So let's see. So, yun nga. What if they come to your restaurant and yeah, you are not aware of what food they can only eat, 'di ba? Dito na papasok yung, of course, we have to know the cultural differences so that you can cater to all kinds of guests, 'di ba? Because in the Muslim culture, they have this halal foods, right? Anyone who's aware of halal? Are you all aware of halal food? Raise your hand pag hindi kayo aware. Are you not aware of halal food? Not aware. Okay. So may mga hindi. So halal foods are foods that Muslims are allowed to eat or drink. They're only allowed to eat or drink under the Islamic law, no? It specifies there what foods are allowed, how food must be prepared, no? Because basically halal means proper and permitted. Okay, it means proper and permitted. So, yun nga, there's a certain way, no? How there's a certain way on how food should be prepared and not just what kinds of food should be eaten. No? Yung mga strict ano na, yan na yung mga strict followers or yung mga nag-a-adhere talaga sa mga Muslim Islamic law. All right. So they have this. And what if you're not aware of this? You just made a menu, which is, there's no halal food. So dumating sila, they came into your restaurant and you cannot offer any food which is halal. Or what is even worse is you served them a food which is uh not okay under this classification, no? It's not halal. So that would already be a form of miscommunication. It will already be a bad thing for your restaurant or for you as a chef, for you who will be making this food for them, 'di ba? Because you just want to cater to more guests, cater to more people. So dapat we should know these kinds of cultural differences and that we have offerings, no? We can support that. We can offer an alternative to that, 'di ba? And that would make us more global. Yun nga. That's why global. Kasi nga, you're catering to more kinds of people, kinds of culture. As easy as that. Okay? Right? Good tayo dyan. Okay. So, we're talking about culture. So, there are so many things. Let's define what culture first. Okay. For ex- okay, let's go back. Local communication later. Sorry, typo, communication. Before we define culture, let's define local communication. Local communication is being able to communicate with the members of your local area. Don't worry, it's already there. You don't have to write it. Okay. It can either be in your local language, yung mother tongue natin, or a common language that we all speak within our place, 'di ba? Okay, that's local communication. Global communication naman, please help me read. Crystal.
Global communication is a term used to describe ways to connect, share, relate and mobilize across geographic, political, economic, social, and cultural divideds. It redefines soft and hard power as well as information power and diplomacy in way not considered by traditional theories of international relations.
All right. We know it in essence. Basically, global communication is connecting, sharing, relating, and mobilizing no, across geography. Okay. So again, yun nga, connecting, sharing, relating, and mobilizing across geographic. Yun na nga, yung from one country to another, no? Overseas, all of these words. Political, then we also have across political, economic, social, and cultural differences or divides, right? So that we already know. And again, I've already explained what a global environment is, where communication is a challenge, right? Due to ethnic and cultural differences. To add to that is the linguistic differences. Now, okay, here we go. We are defining culture. All right, can you help me read the definition of culture, Charles?
Culture, a system of thinking and acting that is taught by and reinforced by a group of people. Cultural groups teach their members certain sets of values with accompanying behaviors and communication preferences.
Okay, thank you so much. So the important word here is reinforce. Okay, reinforce. There you go. Reinforce. It's a system that is reinforced by a group of people. Okay, it is practice. It's reinforced by practicing, no? Passing it over from one generation to another. That is the culture, right? So there is also teaching. So I said passing. So you pass it by teaching them. All right. What are those? It can be sets of values, no? Behaviors and communication preferences. Okay. If you would look at the dictionary, the meaning of culture includes tastes and manners. Ayan na. Tastes, manners that are favored by a social group. Okay, or that ano pa, another example or another definition is culture is all the knowledge and values shared by a society. It's being shared, as we've said earlier, or culture. It is also the attitude and behaviors, okay, behaviors that are characteristics of a particular group. Okay? So paikot-ikot lang. But then it all mean it is being shared, it is being reinforced, it is being taught. Okay? And these are sets of values, thinking, what else? Knowledge, behaviors, which are all characteristics, which all makes up that particular group. Entiendes? Okay? Good? Good, Dajan. Any questions so far? No questions? Okay, clear tayo. Culture, duh, of course. It's just like a very common concept, culture. Now let's go to cultural understanding. Because of this being shared, because of this culture which is being shared, no, we have now this cultural understanding. And what is this? It influences our personal preference in communication. It has been shared to us. Now it is up to us, no? How it would affect us, no? It influences our personal preference in communication style and continues to influence our perception of others throughout our life. Wow. Okay. And please take note of who said that, who gave that definition. It's not me, but them. Okay. All right. So what do we have here now? What are we looking here? Sorry. We're looking at how we should understand our it influences our personal preference. So from there, it would show us, or it would now pertain to understanding our background. no, where we are living in, where we grew up, no, and what are the characteristics and values in the environment that we grew up in our particular group, because in doing so it leads us to knowing ourselves better. Okay, and it's not just ourselves but our culture, and so we understand our culture better, and from there we learn to look at other culture and how we can relate to them. A important word, relate. So because we understand our culture already, this is us. Okay, this is our practices. And then we look at other culture. Ah, it's same as our practice as well, our practices. So we can say this, no? Yeah, it's the same with us. We also practice that. You can have this. We can relate to them. And also, we see how we are different from their culture. And dito na papasok yung cultural diversity. Okay, cultural diversity or diversity of culture. All right. So, cultural diversity. We can also relate, but at the same time, we can see how we are different from other culture, which is now the cultural diversity. Okay. This cultural diversity, this is very important. We have to really have a grasp, no, of how diverse other cultures are, because as we all know, it can lead to communicating effectively, effective communication, or it can also lead to miscommunication if we don't know this. All right. With cultural understanding, there's also this cultural sensitivity. Sorry, I haven't put that here as part of your keywords in this PowerPoint. Cultural sensitivity. What is this? Sensitivity. Sorry. Okay, what is this? Cultural diversity. And with cultural diversity, we should also have cultural sensitivity. We should be sensitive with the cultures of other people. We understand, no? We understand the cultures of others. We can see how they're different. We can see how we are the same with them, no? But we have to be sensitive. What is sensitivity in this sense? Any idea? Anyone?
Idea of sensitivity, ma'am.
Yes. What is this? Cultural sensitivity. How do we go about this? How do we practice this?
Ma'am, we should always consider on how the other culture feel or think. So we need to respect them, ma'am.
Respect. Yes, you're getting there. We need to respect them. Okay, we need to respect this.
Ma'am,
Good, good.
opo.
That's one
Ma'am,
way of
awareness.
looking at it. No?
Ma'am,
What?
awareness.
Awareness is cultural understanding. No?
Ay.
It would fall under cultural understanding. We are aware. But what do we do? Or what effect would it be that we need to do? Okay, sabi nga ni Brent, si Brent ba yun? We have to respect. Okay? In what way? No? In what way? We have to respect. For
Ma'am po.
example,
Example po.
okay, you can cite some example. Sige, so that we can connect.
Ma'am, like here in Baguio, yung mga sumasayaw po dun sa Tamawan, mga Igorot, opo, bad daw siyang, pagtawanan kasi po, yung mga nakabahag mamay, di ba po? Nakikita yung mga like, bad chicks nila, pero
Mm-hmm.
di mo po pwedeng pagtawan kasi culture nila.
Yes, exactly. Yep. We are sensitive. Yes, this is one way of becoming sensitive to other culture. Yes, we cannot laugh. We cannot see this as a funny thing because it's their culture, no? Yes, correct. This is also one way of looking at it. Any more examples? Anymore? Cultural sensitivity. Wala na. Okay.
Ma'am,
Who's that?
ah, ako po si Renji po.
Renz. Okay, sige, Renz.
Isang example po na I think is what you call this, having self-awareness on their taboos or their cultural na some practices that na whenever we communicate with them is we somewhat I avoid talking about it or somewhat things that relate to their taboos or practices po.
Pakiulit nga. Sorry for that.
Okay po. Ma'am, having some self-awareness on now when we communicate with them is that when the things or that or words that we say or the way we communicate with them is we always avoid the things that somewhat relates or directly touch their practices and their taboos of their culture folk.
So we don't touch the taboos of their culture. We don't do it. Is that your
Na
point?
so the call is when we communicate with them is that we avoid saying things that are somewhat related to their taboos po.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's also um on the right track. Okay, it's on the right track. So when we communicate to them, we don't do things which are taboo to them. Okay, in their culture, that's on the right track. Okay, so anymore. That's close enough to this being cultural sensitive. No, it's
Ako po,
close enough.
try.
Sino yun?
Julia po, Suarez.
Julia Suarez. Akala ko si John. Naka-green yung John, kay John Matthew. Julia, okay.
Ma'am, for
Sige.
example po, yung parents ko po, magkaiba po sila ng religion. But then, pag magpupunta po yung father ko sa Catholic Church, pumapasok pa rin po yung mother ko, though, ano po siya, Christian. So, it's a sign of respect na rin po.
Yes, good. Exactly. This is also correct, no? Um yeah. Wow, that's really nice, no? So yes, you respect other culture or other religion, okay? What's missing here? You all have given correct examples, but yun nga, the missing part is that we don't insist, no? We don't insist that our culture or our religion is better. Okay? This is being cultural sensitive. No? For example, just naisip ko lang to. So, for example, I'm here in Germany now. I'm used to eating loudly. Let's say, for example, because I'm coming from a culture na pag if you eat loudly, it means the food is delicious, right? For example lang naman. So, this kinds of thing. And then I went here, and here the culture is different. When you eat loudly, it is a disrespect. It is being rude. No, I have to follow that. I have to follow that culture wherever of the place where I am at that moment. No, I cannot simply insist na no, because in our culture this is a good way. This is a way of saying the food is really good. So I think that this is really a good way. You insist that that practice is correct. It's better, so you keep doing that in an environment where it is deemed to be disrespectful. So you're not being culturally sensitive. 'Di ba? You insist that your own culture, your own practices is better than other culture. Okay ba tayo? May nag-raise ng hand kanina. Sino yun? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, I forgot the name. Who raised his hand a while ago?
Ma'am, can I ask about the religion po? No offense po, pero here in
Okay.
Philippines, di ba po, there is iglesia and then parang some of iglesia hindi naman po sa nagigets ko in a bad way, pero parang sinasabi po nila na they are better in Catholic, in other
Mm-mm.
religions because they are will be saved. Parang ganun. Sila po yung masisave. Ganun po.
Well, I want to be as careful as possible. Okay. No, because we are in this institution. No, and I won't try to, because maybe it would be deemed as speaking in behalf of university. So I want to be careful with this question. And again, my opinions does not reflect ganun, does not reflect the views and opinions of the university as a whole. But to safely answer this, um I guess ito na yung papasok, dito na papasok yung differences ng mga tao. I guess if you try to compare na, this is not religion itself because religion is a teaching, no? One who absorbs that and who understands that are the people, no? So in religion, I believe no religion will ever teach that their religion is better than the others. It's just teaching the people. And so the people, eto na, sila na yung nag-interpret na, because of this teaching, we are better. No? Yun na yung mga tao, us. We are interpreting it in such a way that we compare it to other religion. And so, yun nga, nagkakaroon na ng comparison. But again, it's coming from the people. So I believe, pare-pareho lang ang mga religion. So, yeah, this thing, again, siguro masasabi natin na people are not sensitive, right? In relation to our topic, people are not sensitive because then they keep insisting it's not the religion who is bad, which is what it's not the religion that is bad, but of course it's the people who lack sensitivity. I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Miss Universe. Okay, sige. Alright, pwede na ba? Pang Miss Universe na ba?
Pwede na,
Pang
ma'am.
Miss You na ba? Nanalo na ba? Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful question. Okay, tawang-tawa sila, Julia. Okay. Alright, so any more question? No more. Okay, thank you so much. Sige, keep those questions coming. Now, let's proceed to cross-cultural communication. Okay. What is this cross-cultural communication now? John Matthew, can you read? Can you help us read this?
Occurs between people who may have different cultures, perspective. This can include entire range of difference from nationality, age, to different departments with the same organization.
La 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 la. Okay, what is that? Commotion. Okay, eto na. Dito na papasok yung communicating cross-culturally. Okay? Yeah, we are, because of globalization, we are communicating cross-culturally. Eto na yung exchange of cultural perspectives. Okay? Or communication between people who have different cultural perspectives. Okay? Now, you might be asking, what's the difference now? Is it the same as multicultural? Ma'am, is it the same as multicultural? Now, we will be defining that before we dive deeper to cross-cultural communication. What's the difference between multicultural, intercultural, and cross-cultural communication? Kasi they're all, it seems like they're all the same, right? You know, they're all the same. It's like a lot of culture and communicating with each other. It's just you will have this idea of that being the same meaning to all of it. But somehow there are some slight or little differences. Renz, can you help us read what multicultural means?
Okay po. So, multicultural refers to a society that contains several cultural or ethnic groups. People live alongside one another, but each cultural group does not necessarily have engaging interactions with each other.
Okay. So this is multicultural. Probably the important line here is it does not necessarily have engaging interactions. So there are no interactions, right? So it's just there. It's just a concept of us being multicultural. It's like an environment with different cultural group. It's there. Naka-place lang yan. It's called multicultural setting. Okay? But later, you will know when we put communication into play already, magiging cross-cultural na siya. But first, let's define intercultural naman. Okay, Charles, can you help us read this?
Intercultural describes communities in which there is a deep understanding and respect for all cultures.
Okay, this is within ourselves. There's a deep understanding and respect for all cultures. Sige, so we respect each other. Now we are aware, we understand. Dito na papasok yung cultural understanding. Correct? So if you understand the cultures of others, you belong to intercultural environment na. Okay. Heto na. Dito na papasok yung communication. When you interact na, this is now cross-cultural. Can you help us read this? Wala lang naka-switch ang camera. Why is that so? Camera shy lahat. Let's have the group from Julia. Sige, pwedeng lahat kayo, pwedeng isa lang, you can read. Sabay-sabaw.
Cross-cultural deals with the comparison of different cultures in cross-cultural communication. Differences are understood and acknowledged and can bring about individual change but not collective transformations.
Very good. Nakakamiss talaga ang face-to-face, no? Alright. So, sorry?
Sama ka daw po. Sa amin.
Sama. Sama kayo. Punta muna kayo dito. Yeah, I would love to. Let's see, pag-uwi ko. Let's see. Let's see pag-uwi natin. But then again, we still have corona. So, as much as possible, baka mamaya may dala pala ako. So, let's try to be careful with that. Okay, I don't want to be the cause of you guys being sick. So, yun nga. I would love to, but yeah, let's see. Anyway, yun nga, cross-cultural, eto na yung may interaction, basically, okay? So, we acknowledge, we understand, no? And we understand this, it would affect us because we communicate to them, and this can bring individual change because it let us, we let that culture affect us, right? No? We let that culture affect us. But of course, it does not have to be, it does not necessarily bring collective transformations. For example, K-pop, no? For, hindi naman lahat ng Filipinos into K-pop na, no? Just because, let's say, ang dami, we can say, there's a huge following or fan group of BTS and Blackpink or whoever K-pop artist, no? It doesn't mean that all Filipinos are already into K-pop or something, no? So ganun, ganun lang siya. Meron ng cultural interaction, cultural impact, influence. That's why we are going to be discussing cross-cultural more often than multicultural. Multicultural is just looking at this world full of different groups, no? But when we put communication into play, ayan na, cross-cultural na. Okay. Next. Now we are going to add some values by looking at issues. There are so many issues. Andyan na yung language, no? So many issues sa local and global communication in this setting, no? In cross-cultural setting, multicultural setting as well. May mga issues na. But I will just be giving you three. We have perception, generalizations, and stereotypes. What is perception? Okay. Perception. Ito na yung basically we have discussed this last week. How we perceive. And of course, it's related yun nga, example ko na nga is yung K-pop, no? We perceive it, we also have the skin color, yung mga perceptions natin about skin color, about beauty, about fashion, eto na, right? So, highly susceptible to both personal and cultural experiences. Okay? So, we have, I've already said that, ang main point is that there is this shaping and reshaping of culture, sharing and resharing. Okay, we won't elaborate that further because you already know that from last week. All right. Next, generalizations. Dito na kayo maraming maibibigay na examples for sure. Generalization, patterns of communication used by most people in any cultural group. Okay, when do we generalize groups? Now, let's define that by giving an example or citing some examples. When do we generalize groups? I will be giving an example. Then later, I want to hear it from you guys if you have some examples now. If I say Filipinos are hospitable people, no? It's generalizing, right? Filipinos are hospitable people. It means it's generalizing Filipinos. We generalize this group of people, which is us. So we say they're generally hospitable. Okay? So this is now generalizations. Example, any more example of generalizing? Make sure you don't, you have to be careful, no? For citing examples between generalization and stereotype. Okay? Any examples? Any more? Anyone? Any two? Any three? Generalize. Ah, ayaw niyo mag-generalize. Okay, sige. It's good. No, we try to be safe. So yun na. Let's stick to that. Filipinos are hospitable. So let's say si Julia hospitable. Si Julia Filipino. Therefore, she is hospitable. Did someone message from the chat? We use generalization to interact with people. Hmm? No, not really. Not really interaction. No. Ito na yung issues that we can find in this communication aspect. So, in terms to communicating with other people, yes, it's true. In terms of interacting with people, okay? But not using it, but just coming from our side, okay? So we generalize. For example, yun nga, Julia is a Filipino. Therefore, she is hospitable. Okay? But in that sense, nagkakaroon na ng stereotype. Because I said, Julia is hospitable. Okay? Julia is a Filipino, therefore she is hospitable. Okay? Nagkakaroon na ng stereotype. Therefore, lahat na ng mamimit ko na Filipinos, they are all hospitable. This is becoming now a stereotype. In a way. Okay? But not really. Okay? Later you will know why. So, in a way, because it's me applying it rigidly. It's me following it. No? Like, every time na lang, I believe that. I believe any Filipinos I meet is hospitable. Okay? So, what is this stereotype now? Stereotype are cultural norms applied to everyone in a group, everyone in a group in a rigid manner. Okay, what do we do here? We box each and every individual as part of the group, no? As to what she is, as to what she is not. Okay? Kasi nga, we box them. What if si Julia hindi pala friendly? What if hindi pala friendly si Julia? Ayan, oh, inaaway niya na. Nakikipag-away na siya, nakikipagsapakan na. Okay, what if is she's not really hospitable. Makipagsapakan kung sapakan siya, no? And not really welcoming the guests. Right? So there are some individual differences na. She is now different from the generalized perspective or view on Filipinos. Okay? But we don't notice because we put her in a box. No? This is somehow stereotyping. But not really. Because one important difference of generalization and stereotype is, and this I will be waiting for you guys to answer. What is the difference? What is the difference of generalization and stereotyping? You can cite some examples. Okay. Sige na, let's have a nice debate here or discussion or inter or exchange of ideas. Sige. What is the difference for you guys? Sige, go, go, go. Work those brains. Work those brain cells. What's the difference of generalization and stereotype? Anyone?
Ma'am, ako po, try lang po ah.
Yes, try. Sige,
Ma'am, ako
by
sa
all
generalization,
means.
the word itself generalize, ma'am.
Wait,
Parang tumutukoy
wait.
siya sa maraming tao.
Okay, si Jul. Anong name? What's the name?
John Matthew Uy po.
Jan Matthew. Uy, nandun ka rin sa... Nasa ano ka
Ma'am,
rin?
ako po yung naka-black na ang ganda.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, ma'am, so balik na po tayo.
Joanna pala. Okay.
Sa generalization mo, ma'am, from the word itself, generalize, parang, for me po, tumutukoy siya sa maraming tao. And then yung stereotypes, parang ano, like, pang ano, ma'am, ay sa racist yung tinatawag yung mga black people na nigger. Parang ganun.
Yes, exactly. That's one. Okay. That's one thing. Ayun nga. Group of people and then meron na nga yung mga offending words for them for this culture. Yes. Okay. Maybe one part of the differences. What else? Good job, Matthew. What else, everyone?
Hello po, ma'am. So, sabi niyo po, ini-cite mo namin po yung, yung question na po. So, galing po sa internet is that a stereotype is a fixed perception that is applied to people from another based on little information or rumors, while overgeneralization is personal experience that we put into general categories or types. Ma'am, para pong yung example po is parang yung sinabi niyo po na basta Pilipino po is mabuti, hospitable, yun po. And so the difference is that yung stereotype po is basta nakita natin may yung information na alam natin tungkol sa kanila, yun po yung winibis natin kaagad po na parang hindi natin po gustong ano yun, ma-experience or makilala po yung ngunit yung generation, yung
Kaya mo yan.
gene
Sige.
yung generalization po is opposite nyo nung yun po.
Okay. And can you cite some situations or specific example, like one form of stereotyping? You guys can think of this example of stereotyping. From there, we can also define or see the difference. Can you cite some example, Jay? Stereotype. Saan ba common ang stereotyping? Don't stereotype us just because we're what? Something like that.
Ma'am, yung mga example po is people from country X are lazy. Mga ganun po yung nakita ko po dito. Yung parang alam ko po na isang example po is basta yung chick daw po singkit. Yung parang
Asia, this is generalization. It is not really stereotyping. We generalize them. No, most of them are singkit. When does it become a stereotype? Anyone who can also give example? Thank you so much, Jay. Anyone who can also give an example of stereotype? Yes, Catherine.
Ma'am, parang yung stereotype sa pagkakaintindi ko po ma'am is being judgmental po, parang ganun po ang stereotype po.
Well, parehas sila. Parehas generalization and stereotype are being judgmental. But if you judge something or someone, when does it become stereotype? John?
Ma'am, magbibigay po sana ng example.
Sige. Carlo ba? Carlo?
Opo, dapat po pag sinasabi po nila dapat pag babae, mag-aalaro ng kunyari Barbie po, pero gusto naman po ng bata baril sa panlalaki. Parang ganun po.
Okay, eto na. Sige, what ano mo na, medyo okay na. Sige, let's take it from there. Babae, tsaka lalaki. Alright. Very common yan. So, sa example ni, sino ba? Carlo? Tama ba, Carlo? Sa example niya, yun na, laruan naman na. Laruan ng bata, pag babae. Sino naglalaro? Babae, lalaki?
Yung babaeng bata naglalaro po ng baril-barilan, pero dapat po yun ay Barbie
Okay.
parang ganun.
Alright. So, yun na. Meron ng kaonte doon na kaonting stereotype. Yes, stereotype nga siya. Because if you impose nga na, hindi, dapat ito lang lalaruin mo. If you impose that, then yun na. You really stereotype na ito lang dapat for them. Okay? No? For example, you're the parent na, and then you said, this is what you should play because you're a boy or you're a girl. So this is the only toys that you should play. No? So medyo may stereotype na doon. Okay, from there, what can we infer? Ano nang difference ng stereotype and generalization? Let's take a look at this men and women example. Okay, so I will be generalizing. Women. Women are weaker than men. This is generalization. Okay, women are weaker than men in general. Now, who agrees and who does not agree? Raise your hand if you agree. Women are weaker than men.
I agree.
Si Brent.
Yes, agree. Ma'am, ako I disagree. Ay, debate. Ma'am, because. Ma'am, example ako kung bakit ako disagree. Ilalaban ko to, ma'am.
Bakit?
Ma'am, kasi may mga babae naman pong nakakapagpalaki ng mabuting anak na walang gabay ng lalaki, di ba?
Oh.
It's being feminist po kapag ganun.
Okay.
Na parang yung example, ma'am, na what a man can do, a woman can't, hindi po totoo yun.
Okay. What
Di ba?
about... Hala, hindi ko na-i-record yung sinabi ni Brent. Hala, sorry.
Ayos
Hindi ko
lang ma'am, unquote
na-record.
mo.
Okay, disagree madam. Kasi like sa construction, di naman kaya ng mga babae like pagbubuhat. I'll stay neutral, ma'am. Okay. All right. So we have not recorded what Brent said, but I think he have raised some important points. Like yun nga, may mga trabaho na hindi naman talaga kaya ng babae. Okay. So from there, good points. You guys raised both like super important points. Yes, but from there we can say na this kind of generalization is acceptable. It is acceptable. It is not stereotyping. Okay? Women are weaker than men is an acceptable generalization. It's not a stereotype because if you are going to explain or support that because um dun pa lang sa example ng job, physical aspect, no? There's evidence for it na mas malakas naman talaga ang men. Okay? Physiologically, we can prove that men are really stronger than women, no? Like for example, for me na lang last time, so we have this game and nagbunot-bunot kami, draw lots and I happened to compete with a guy. Punong braso. How do you call that? Is it correct, punong braso? Like this arm contest, no? And from there,
Arm wrestling.
arm wrestling. Yes, exactly. So from there, talagang physically I cannot beat him, no? Because I am not that strong enough. And for me, I deem it as an unfair competition kasi I said this is so unfair because it should be like I should compete with the girl, not the boy because physically obvious naman ng mananalo. So for me, it was unfair to make me compete with the boy. So yun nga, dapat nandun na yun na nga yung papasok yung girls versus girls. Dapat kasi, yun nga, physiologically, yun lang ang kaya nating mai-compete. Unless of course, i-compete mo ba naman si Heidelin, tama ba? I-compete mo ba naman siya, si Heidelin Diaz, then ibang usapan na yon. Okay? Kaya niyang sabihin na, "No, I disagree. Women are stronger than men." Okay? So, pag sa kanya nanggaling, kilala niyo ba si Heidelin Diaz? Tama ba, Heidelin?
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, pag sa kanya nanggaling, then matakot na ang mga lalaki. But then, yeah.
Ma'am Palag,
Palag, okay. So
nanalo
again,
sa
going
Olympics
back,
na 140 kilos.
sinong ano sa kanya, no? Sinong magcha-challenge? Diyos ko, sino sa atin? Anyway, going back, yun na. We
Oh.
have this thing, but very good. I appreciate John Matthew. I appreciate all of you guys for, of course, um, giving examples and stating your opinions. Yeah, this is one way, no? Please, I really like this class. So, good, good, good. Palakpakan natin ang bawat isa, not just Sam. Okay? Because you're all also actively listening. I'm sure by listening to them, you are also developing your own opinions. Medyo minsan shy lang kayong i-voice out. But please speak up if you have. All right? So, what can we infer to this? Again, accepted generalization. There are generalizations which are good. Now, paano papasok ang stereotype? When does stereotyping come into play? For example, women. If we say women are weak, so they cannot join the army. Women are not for the army because they're weak. What is this now? This is now
Stereotype, ma'am.
stereotyping. No? Very rigid ka doon. Because wala naman sa rule na bawal ang babae sa army. There are women who go to the army. Tama? But if you say
Yes, ma'am.
women cannot join the army because women are weak, this is stereotyping. So somehow we can infer to this as stereotyping having a bit of a negative connotation. Pag naging negative na, no? Pag negative na, pag offending na, this is now stereotyping. Okay? Pag ininhibit, pag when you, how do you call this one? Stop women from joining the army already, when you inhibit them, then it means it's stereotyping. One good example, I don't know if you are all aware of this news, probably because it's everywhere, si Queen Elizabeth. Yeah? Queen Elizabeth She is such a good queen. But one important thing, which is related to our topic now, that she did is for a while. Let me charge. Palobat na ako. Okay, is that are you all aware that before yung succession of crown can only be passed to the firstborn male? Are you all aware of that? So the succession of the crown, the one who will reign over the country, over the kingdom of Great Britannia, no, it should only be males. So kung if your firstborn, if you're the king and your firstborn is not a male, if secondborn siya, pangalawa, but as long as he is male, then siya ang mag-inherit ng crown. Yung panganay na babae will not because she's a woman. So this is already stereotyping. Women cannot become queen. Okay? But Queen Elizabeth changed that rule. So she proposed, or she made this Succession to the Crown Act of 2013. And yun nga, she amended the provision. Andiyan na yung mga Bill of Rights, Act of Settlement, and all of this. But to simply put it, she ended the system of putting or having the male firstborn as the successor. Okay? Because yun nga, as I've said, nasasapawan ng younger sons yung panganay, yung elder daughter in the line of succession. So, it's really good that she did this. It's really nice. Ayun na yung gender equality. Okay? Gender equality na. Equal rights, equal privileges, equal opportunities. So, God bless the queen. Okay. All right. She's really good. I've been following some videos of her reign recently, and it shows that she's such a really very selfless and passionate to serve. Very passionate siya to serve the country. Really great queen. Anyway, moving on. So, eto na. We already have some gender topic na. So later on, we will also be discussing gender sensitivity. It will lead us to gender sensitivity. But let us discuss sexism as an introduction. Sexism. Because we're discussing gender, we should also define what sexism is. Sexism is now giving, I have to be faster because I want you guys to do something on the last 30 minutes. So sexism now is giving attributes, okay? We are attributing a particular gender on a particular role. For example, engineers. Pag sinabing engineers, I believe it's here. Ay, wala. Okay. So, pag sinabing engineers, teachers, what else? Ano ba? Nurses, what gender comes into your mind? So, if this thing happened to you, if you have these kinds of gender attributes, then it's like being sexist, okay? We are being sexist because you are eto na yung housewife. You are a woman, so you just stay at home. You are just built for being a housewife. No? You're a married woman. So, medyo sexist na. Okay? Stereotyping and being sexist. We are attributing a particular gender, particular role. Okay? So, we have to be gender sensitive. Eto na. To avoid that, we have to be sensitive. This is the aim of understanding and taking account the societal and cultural factors involved in gender-based exclusion and discrimination in the most diverse spheres of public and private life. Part of that, when we incorporate that in communication, we have to use gender-sensitive language. Okay? not just in situations or real life scenarios, but also in the language that we use. Okay, we have to have gender equality in written and spoken language. Okay, example, that I will leave for you guys later. Okay, I think I will be giving some examples. But first, ito nga yung sinasabi ko. We give attributes to genders. Okay, genders like engineers, nurses, teachers, soldiers, sabi natin. Okay? Here we go. These are some examples. Gender, we need to use now gender neutral words. For example, we have chairperson. We should use chairperson or chair or coordinator instead of chairman or chairwoman. Correct? We also have human resources. We need to use human resources instead of manpower. Okay? Police officer instead of policeman or policewoman. And we have artificial or manufactured instead of man-made. These are just some. Ang dami. We have a whole lot of list for that. And that will be part of your activity tomorrow. Okay? Or assignment later on. Okay? So, these are just some. I hope you get the essence of that. We also have political correctness. Besides being gender sensitive, we also have to have political correctness. And what is this? It is describing language policies and measures that are intended to avoid offense or disadvantage to members of particular groups in society. We have to be using some proper words which are not offensive or which would deem them as, it's their disadvantage. Okay? All right. So, example, eto na yung rape survivor instead of rape victim. 'Di ba? If you say rape victim, medyo nakakaawa, no? Nakakaawa na nga, tapos ginamitan mo pa ng victim, parang ano na, parang degrading na talaga, no? Instead, if you say rape survivor, then we uplift them. Tama? Technologically challenged instead of computer illiterate. Yeah. Visually challenged instead of blind or visually impaired. No? Technologically challenged, dyan napapasok yung tayo. Kami. Or hindi. Okay pa ako. Papasok pa ako dyan sa hindi. Dyan napapasok yung mga, let's say, mga generation ng mga lolo-lola. 'Di ba? They're not really techie. Okay. We also have drug dependent instead of drug addict. Kasi pag addict parang super offensive naman na, parang iba na yung level. So let's say drug dependent. It's nice to know these examples of politically correct words, no? And again, this will be your assignment. Okay, you will have to give more examples on gender neutral words and politically correct words. Unahan yan later. Okay.
Ma'am, may tanong ako.
Ano yun?
What about those namatay, ma'am?
Ha?
Sa rape, ma'am. Kaya namatay ka sa rape, ano tatawag sa'yo?
Ma'am, di ba
Rape
rape
survivor.
Pag
Rape
namatay, hindi na. Ano na. For example, rape, ano na. Ang tawag dun? Namatay. Then, rape,
Magiging general na nga po yun, magiging murdered na.
oh, of course. Hindi mo na sasabihin na ano, the murdered, hindi mo na sasabihin rape survivor.
Ma'am,
Diba?
what if yung like yung nanay ay sinasabi niya, like, my daughter was a rape victim. So,
Mm-mm.
medyo parang past tense ba yun? So,
Well,
considered, ma'am?
I mean, these politically correct words, these are not really necessarily enforced, no? It's just as much as possible we should use this, but of course not everyone knows yet, no? So if we start using this, then we will set an example. But of course not everyone knows this yet. No, so as much as possible, we have to use these words. It would start from us, no? There are some people who would still use rape victim. Some people who would still use blind, drug addict, yung mga yan. Well, media would portray that actually. Some people, especially media, syempre, some, not all, but some mas madramang pakinggan, mas papanoorin, 'di ba? Rape victim, drug addict, yung mga yan, right? So I hope, no? Actually, hindi kasi kayo com student. So someday, no, if you encounter these instances, then it should begin sa sarili ninyo. No, it should begin with you guys to use these politically correct words, not just using, all blind rape victim, drug addict, just to make it sensational. Yeah. So yeah, it will start from us. But then again, hindi natin may iwasan to. Some people, we will still hear this. You would somehow subconsciously use this as well, no? Unconsciously, unconsciously use this because that's what we are used to. That's what we have been saying all this time. But let's see. Let's start using this, rape survivor. And okay. Any more questions? I believe that ends our topic actually for today. So, yun yeah. Yeah, but before but you will still not go because you will have to do something for me right now. Everyone, you have to, okay?